What's going on, YouTube? My name is GinJ-TCG Orcus, and today I'm back with another Battle VIPs podcast. This time we've got two regionals coming up in the next couple weeks. We got Rio De Janeiro and Birmingham, both coming up on the same weekend, I believe, January 18th. I might be making that up, but I'm pretty sure that's the one it is. And then after that, we got San Antonio, which will get a podcast out for that as well. So we've got a lot of decks to cover. It's been a minute since there was a regional. The format has changed a ton. So our tier lists are going to be looking probably the most different than they have in a while. But before we get into the tier list, I just wanted to say really quickly, me and all my buddies, including these three goons that are in the chat right now, are hosting something called a Rogue Regional, where all of them will be coming to my apartment, and plus a bunch of more people, and we'll be playing an insane amount of insane, wacky piles against each other and seeing which takes the top Rogue spot. That tournament will be streamed on YouTube and Twitch, and it is on February 8th. I will get the time out when we get closer to the date. So if you want to watch a bunch of fun decks play, maybe have some, I'm going to be doing a bunch of giveaways and stuff. If people guess the right decks, I'll post all of the list day of, but you'll know the type of deck early. So I'm playing Hisuian Gujar V-Star, so if you want to bet your life and soul on Gujar V-Star, one, I'd appreciate it. Two, it will be February 8th. Make sure you're there. And if you guys want to say what you're playing, if not, I'll jump into all you guys and saying hello. Avery.
Alright, so y'all are definitely not going to be ready for what I'm playing.
True.
These cards might actually just be older than than your kids.
True.
These cards might be older than the mail that you keep stacked up in your cabinet. These cards might be older than the cat that you have lying around your house. Alright, these are going to be a fun, I got some fun ideas. I'm just still deciding on one of two lines for partner Pokemon, but other than that, I've got I got a really funny idea, and I think y'all are gonna love it.
Rich, long time no see. Welcome back to the pod.
Yeah.
What you running, dog?
I'm running wings.
Goated list. Goated meme list.
Gotta love the burbs.
But he's gonna be popular and he's gonna be a favorite to win it, and I respect it. Josh, how you feeling? Welcome back to the pod. It's been a minute.
Yo, I'm playing Scovelin, the grass type one.
Legend.
I drew it in a pack one day, and I was like, you know what? This deck will be fun. But I play a total of, I think, 7 or 8 basics, so I might mulligan 5 times.
If it makes you feel better, I play 7. So same.
Oh, I don't feel bad about it.
Okay, I was gonna say, I play 7 on the dot, and I know that for a fact. I only have 9 Pokemon in my deck. So
yeah,
I hear you, bro. I hear you. It's all good.
I have a 3/3 of one, and then I have a 3/3 of another, and I think that's it.
Oh,
but
bro, don't
2
worry.
of basic, 3 of each.
This tournament, I hope you know this might be the sweatiest I've ever prepped for a tournament. My training is gonna be harder than a regionals, but that's because I actually selected my deck this early.
Not me.
Y'all are not ready for this, but
I'm already locked in for the next regional we go to.
Yeah, no, my next region, I'll figure out the deck the day before. For this, I'm taking it all. I'm taking the crown.
Just remember what happened last time you did that.
Yeah, it went phenomenal. Last time I picked the deck the day before, I went 5-4. It's good enough.
Went better, and you could have made it day 2. But you said that deck. If you practiced a week with that deck, you could have made day 2.
So think about what'll happen at this Rogue Regional. Now that I've selected my deck a month and a day early.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over for
He's
y'all.
gonna be handing himself the champion match.
Yo, for
real,
real,
unfair
bro.
stamp you and you have no draw.
I don't need a hand. My hand is just a state of mind. I've got vibes and I've got faith in my Pokemon, and that's what Ash Ketchum taught me when I was a kid. So I'm ready. Yo, Rich, also turn on your camera, bro. Don't leave me alone out here. Anyways, now that we got that out of the way, let's get back into the tier list. Wait, did I actually just peer pressure this guy into it? Yo, Rich, I love you. Do it. So I guess we'll start off strong. Start off with the deck that's kind of taking the format by storm. Arch Aladdin Dialga V-Star. I'm curious where you guys had this one.
I have it an A.
Avery?
I have it up there too, yeah.
Oh, wow, me too. Okay, I thought we were going to have 3 different things for that. I'm not going to lie. Rich?
What? Wait, for...
Arch Aladdin Dialga.
Arch Alliant? Arch...
You got it.
That one.
Yeah.
I might... Honestly, I think it's more of C, honestly. I mean, it did just win a regionals.
Have you looked at
However,
online tournaments in the past 2 weeks?
No.
Okay, that'll do it.
Wow.
This deck has taken over the top 4s and top 8s in every tournament
Straight
over
up?
100 people.
Oh,
Yeah. No, this deck actually.
I mean, but That's like the kind of like the same vibes I was getting. I mean, I feel like it's gonna have the like Turbo Guardy box treatment where it's gonna take over, but then probably like maybe next regionals like it's not, or like when Dialga Matang won a regionals and then just like kind of fell off the
That's
face of
true.
the earth.
But it did
Yeah.
well until the next regional, and I think honestly at Birmingham and Rio De Janeiro, I think Archaladin and Dialga would be popular. I think people both love each of these Pokemon and the effects they have. Like, they're fun cards to play, and they swing well into a lot of the other top decks. And I do think that for this regional coming up, they are going to have a solid performance. Like, I also like the A tier
agree.
pick. They swing well into into Charizard. It swings pretty well. They swing well into any basic EX attacker, including Raging Bolt because of Start Chronos. Like, if you could time your Start Chronos even against Charizard, so you do it when you take your final 4 prizes, like on Rotom, and then you use Metal Blast to swing for Oko on Charizard, dude, this deck is hard to beat.
Yeah, the
Oh,
end game
it
the end game this deck has is just
Is nuts.
there's no way, there's not much way around it because they just take 2 turns in a row. Like,
Yeah.
there is no way to set up against to be ready for Dialga.
With the right boss's orders or counter catcher in hand at the start of that Star Chronos turn that they're going for, I'd like this deck in A for that reason. I'm with you. I think it's got teeth. I think it's got the teeth it needs.
Exactly. I'm glad to see Dialga
It's
like
just-
being pulled out of binders now to like
Yeah.
be thrown in with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have one take though. I just feel like with the abundance of Iono in this format, just like
But the deck plays
one
Fez.
perfect.
I don't think Iona
The
will
deck
Yeah,
was
stop
like-
it.
Every deck
That's
plays Fez if it can fit it in, so like hand disruption is like obsolete now.
Because think about it, right?
Like,
If
I
I
was crazy.
Iono you to 1 or 2 cards, and then you draw for turn, let's say you're at 1 card, Iono to 1. You draw for turn, you got 2 cards in hand. Then you play Pheasantipity. Now you're at 5 cards in hand. I don't know why I was about to hold up 6. I can't count. You're at 5 cards in hand. That's a respectable hand size. That's what B-Barrel gets you anyways.
You're
you
also
can play
playing
all
Radiant
5.
Greninja most of the time.
I'm not even talking about that. That could be 6-7 if one of those 5 cards are a research or something like that. Now you've got a whole new hand. Like Fez, which Archaladin does play, kind of eliminates the worry of Iono.
True.
Like I played
Yeah.
2 in my list over the weekend, and I felt crazy for even like using it.
Yeah. No, I think this deck in A feels safe.
I think it has a really solid chance. It's definitely gonna top 8. I think it maybe top 4.
I would love to see this deck top 4. That
Yeah,
would be awesome.
I think this deck might win a regional before rotation.
I'd be so
I'm
fine
just tired of seeing 7 Regidrago in top 8.
Well-
I want to see something different.
I have some takes on Regidrago, but we will get there in a bit. The next deck I had up was Ancient Box.
I got that in A. I don't think it's gonna move from there.
Josh?
I think with a great list right now, it can win a regional. I think you just have to have the right list, the right cards, the right consistency in the deck.
That's fair. Rich?
Honestly, I kind of think it might. Wait.
Take
Are
your
you
time.
gonna say
buddy. Don't worry,
BDIF
no
on us
rush.
right now? Are you about to say BDIF
I
on
know.
us?
No, I was about to say B tier,
No.
to be honest.
I think I was gonna. Yeah, I think I was.
I have
gonna say B,
3
'cause
problems
I
right
feel
now
like it's not.
with Ancient Box. My 3
What is that?
problems are Pidgeot Control, Charizard, and Dragapult Iron Thorns. All 3 of those decks are tearing up tournaments right now, with the exception of maybe Charizard. Charizard hasn't had the best record, but its popularity has been up there. Charizard is not a great matchup. It's not bad. I think Koraidon helps a lot. I still think it's rough.
Koraidon
It's
helps
definitely not
so
favored.
much.
It does, and I played a lot of Ancient Box. I told you guys, if I'm going to a regional tomorrow, I'm bringing Ancient Box. I love the deck. I just have it in B because I think Pidgeot Control, I think this is its time to shine, and that is an auto loss
Okay,
for Ancient
that's fair.
Box. And for that
Yes.
reason, plus Dragapult Iron Thorns' popularity, and Dragapult kind of has the same issue as Charizard. It's like, yes, you do well because of Koraidon, but I feel like At a regional level, the people who are bringing Dragapult Iron Thorns understand the deck well, and they're going to know how to navigate that Ancient Box matchup, even if you lead one Iron Thorns, and that's an easy 2-prize KO. It's like Rotom and Charizard. Just because there's a Rotom or an Iron Thorns doesn't make the matchup perfect. And I think it's hard. Not unwinnable. I think it's hard for Ancient Box, whereas Pidgeot Control, it's unwinnable.
Yeah, I agree with Pidgeot Control being unwinnable, but I don't think that Dragapult is that bad. I really don't. As someone who's been playing Ancient Box for a good 2 weeks now,
that's fair.
Personally, just what I've experienced as a player with it, I have not had trouble with going against Dragapult, because you have a lot of your, like, how I play Ancient Box is you have your Ancient Booster Capsules, you can use them to your advantage, so the only thing that can one-shot you on your Koraidon, on your Roaring Moon, is the Dragapult. That way you're kind of preventing the 60 damage.
The Dragapult Iron Thorns players, that's what they're going to do. They're not going to use Iron Thorns against you. Yeah, but I think that's what's hard.
You don't have to. But then also you go into, that could take out your Greninja. Greninja doesn't go down to 2. What's this attack called?
Phantom Dive. Yeah, it goes down to 3. They need
it goes down to 3, which is fine. Then that way, it's the same thing as Charizard. Most of the time, endgame, you're looking for that one shot to win the game.
That's true.
But Dragapult has less health. Usually, it's not that hard to stay. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not that hard to keep up with it, is what I'm trying to say.
No, that's fair. I respect that.
He'll have one turn late game where your opponent will have one turn late game where they're taking 2 prizes, which might put you down. But most of the time, that end game, you could pull up Koraidon and swing for another KO. Or if you have to one-shot a Dragapult, you're so late game, it's not hard to find Mochi, Pekka run in, and swing for 320. It's really not that hard.
Yeah, man.
Especially
that makes sense.
When you're playing Mochi, it helps a lot. Because it fixes that kind of late game math where you're not one-shotting for your last 2 prizes when they may have 1 prize left. Now, when you play Mochi, you have 90% of your stuff in discard already. Mochi fixes from that 280, 290 range where you're just short of a one-shot. It puts you at that 320, 330. So now you can one-shot Charizard. So now you can one-shot Dragapult. You can one-shot these bigger decks.
Yeah, you know what? You sold me. I'll take it. I could rock with that tonight. I worry for those 3 decks. I think it's unfavored. I think stuff like Mochi, you bring up a really good point. I think you could keep pace, especially bringing up like the Greninja needing 3 turns to really get that Greninja going.
Yeah.
Or gone, excuse me. And Charizard, I think what worries me is that Dusknoir can OHKO it at any point, and I think Briar is what scares me a lot in Charizard.
Briar, yeah.
And I think if Dragapult Iron Thorns, if they play a copy or 2 of Briar, that could be hard as well. But I see what you mean, where you could keep pace with it. Koraidon does help. Mochi is that, and I watched you. It is that damage buff when I was watching you play that tournament. Like, Mochi is perfect in this list with Pecharunt. Like, I think those are kind of essential after watching you. I could rock with that tonight. That's tight.
Yeah, and then Pecharunt, you don't even have to play until last turn of the game.
Yeah.
You can get around it, because most of the time that mid game, you could attack with the Roaring Moon. You're usually hitting for probably mid game around like the second attack. First attack, probably 140, 150. Then you come in with Koraidon, you're swinging for 180. You're KOing anything with a 2-shot.
True.
And then, let's say they want to retreat, you just keep them on your bench, and now, okay, take a prize, take 2 prizes. Now I have 2 counter catcher. Now I have 3 counter catchers that I can use against you. You know what I mean? And then it just allows for easy dust late game.
No, I kind of love that. All right, I'll rock with that, man. Ancient Box and Ed. Next one up, we got Snorlax Stall.
I went B.
I got it in B.
We kind of in sync today. I don't know. I had mine in the top of B, like top
Same.
most.
Mine's it's the highest deck in B for me.
Yes. Yep. Same here. I think the deck has a lot of positive matchups for those who haven't seen Stall. Recently, I think hasn't been very popular, which is why it hasn't been taking over as many tournaments. But I think when it does show up, it swings well into so many decks. I think one of the only bad matchups for it that honestly keeps it out of A for me is Archilid and Dialga, which is insanely popular. If you could dodge Dialga and like Roaring Moon / Ancient Box, anything with Pecharunt, it's an auto, like, you're not auto winning every deck, but you're so close to it. I mean, you've got so many favored matchups. It's really just decks that play Pecharunt or decks like Archilid, where literally every single Pokemon in their deck is an attacker.
Yeah.
Like,
Honestly,
that's it.
Though,
yeah.
I actually think, I think it might be mid B. Because I feel
That's
like
fair.
everyone that goes to a regionals preps for Stall.
You would be surprised. A lot of
Not
people
anymore,
stop,
actually.
People stop respecting
Really?
Stall after like a week.
Yeah.
Bro.
I think right now it's kind of on
I
a
was
low
the
point. I think it's
boogeyman.
just got natural counters.
Those Minior texts that people were putting in might have lasted like 2 days.
4 days. Yeah.
They just didn't
That's
last at
so
all.
whack.
I put Minior in my deck, and like the first card I wanted to tech in, I took out Minior.
Yeah.
Bro, that's like so whack. Because I feel like stall is just like, I mean, because there's like so many different flavors of stall.
Snorlax stall. We got other control decks.
Oh, like
Talking about
there's
Snorlax
like,
right
you know
now.
what I mean? Like there's so
Yeah.
many like different flavors of it. But I feel like if you're prepping for Snorlax, you're prepping for like Mawile, which would be in like
Guardy could play Mawile.
Mm-hmm.
Guardy
could put
Lugia.
in Mawile.
Even a Lost Box could stick in. Like a Radzard could stick in a Mawile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mimikyu, Ogerpon could also stick in Mawile, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just like
No, that's true.
Pidgeot control.
I don't hate
Like,
like I still got it in upper B. I still think it's not as
yeah,
respected right
no,
now.
100%. I just feel,
Yeah.
people never respect it, but
No.
like I remember when whenever we prep for regionals,
Oh yeah,
like,
we
I always
freak out
like
for
know how
stall.
to.
Because I
Well,
have
because it's
bullied
just
all
like-
of them. Yeah.
I freak out for stall because of what Chris did to me prepping for Hartford in
I've done
2023.
it to everyone
Yeah.
in our friend group. I know. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah,
That's my bad.
no, I mean I will say it is mad funny when someone like I remember what was it when we, oh my god, for Charlotte, someone flipped over a Snorlax and I smiled and he looked at me and he was visibly scared and or upset. I don't know which one it was, but he saw me look at it and be like, yes, and be like, what?
Yeah. No,
No,
that's
Like
that's fair.
if I flipped
You're-
over Snorlax and my opponent smiled at me, I'm wondering what kind of freak I'm going against.
That's true.
like-
bro. That's fair.
Bro, because he was like, what are you playing? Because I just flipped
It's
over
all the pennies, all the Turos. We got the Ogerpon for shred. They can't thin out our supporters that scoop up, and scoop up Cyclone. Yeah, no, we had a list for stall.
We did. We had a
Not
list
many
that
people play like that,
we were the stall that was the better stall.
True,
For that
true.
specific.
I've just
one.
played against stall so much in my life that I'm like, okay.
You know how to do
Yeah.
it, man. That's good. I mean, hey, we got stall and upper B. I could rock with it. Take this as a lesson,
Makes
anyone
me
watching.
so bad. Like,
Please tech for stall. If that becomes a good matchup that you know how to deal with, that's such a good talent to have in the back pocket to stay calm and understand how to
No,
play
yeah.
fast, but
That's
also
like-
conserve resources. Because that's
Dude,
kinda
that's
what
like
you have to do.
more than half of like their game plan is just to make their opponent tweak out.
Oh yeah,
This play.
yeah, dude, if you're like, honestly, I don't like saying this, but if you're a person in the Pokemon community and you just really like bullying people,
play stall.
just play stall. Because I like,
Actually,
as
no,
a
I have
player
a
who's
better
playing for a
deck.
while
I have
now,
a better deck for them.
Hold on,
Maybe we'll
hold
get
on.
to that in a bit. Yeah.
as I've been playing stall now, I know how to play against it, but like, God, every time I see a Snorlax flipped over on the other side of the table, I'm still ready to like jump over the table and like rip the card in half and eat it. But
Which is
like,
valid.
I know how to play against it. It just still makes me mad,
That's fair, man.
Oh, 100%.
and it will until April when it rotates.
Facts. In the interest of
Yeah,
time,
I've
I'm
never
just
played
I mean, I
keep
will
this
say-
moving to the next one.
Bro, whenever I saw that at the
Never mind, we
regionals,
got
like
rich.
whenever I saw the when I saw stall, I literally got a new energy drink out of my pocket, out of my bag.
Bro, that's how you have to do it, man. Take the Adderall mid-match.
It's like,
and stall.
Red Bull out of the pocket's crazy.
Red Bull out of the pocket. Yo, the pocket monster is the way to be.
Dude, and I was just like, all right, this is gonna be a long match, but I'm just gonna
That's
win.
what I'm
and
saying. Thank
pull
you,
out.
Avery.
Pocket
It's like
monster.
well, it just begun pretty much goes. I'm gonna win the first match and just like vibe,
Yeah.
and you can just like be poopy. You can.
Anyways,
kinda-
in the interest of
totally.
time, we're 3 decks in. We've got like 20 something more to go. Charizard EX, a deck we all know, some of us love, most of us in this call hate. This one should be pretty easy to cover. I currently have it. I lost it actually. Where did you have this in A? Where did I put it? No, I have it in upper B. Avery, Rich.
Yeah, I put it in A.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go back to the
Yeah, I put it
basics.
in
Back to the basics. Its matchups are rough, and I think that's what kept it out of A for me.
I'm going more basic than that, honestly. I'm not even looking. I didn't look up much matchups for
That's
my
fair. No,
watch.
Charizard
I
is
literally said
consistently perfect. It's
it
not
is-
the problem.
yes,
It's its matchups,
it
and
is-
it loses to so many of the A tier decks.
yeah,
And I think that's what hurts.
yeah. It loses to Dragapult, loses to Regidrago, loses to Snorlax.
Yep.
In my opinion,
It
loses to Roaring Moon.
Cloth,
It loses to
Roaring Moon.
Cloth. It's got a rough matchup into Iron Thorns, Dragapult specifically.
Oh, it's got abysmal match.
That right there, Josh, is exactly why I got it in upper B.
Yeah,
It's the
struggles
number
against-
2 deck in B
struggles
for me.
against a good Guardy.
Yes. Guardy is
Mirror
arguably
is
favored
annoying.
into it. Yeah. Like,
Depending-
Raging Bull, it's always been kind of rough. I think it's better now that
Yeah.
they got Briar, but I think it's now just a 50-50. I think for these reasons, it's not B for mid, it's just B for consistent. If you want consistent and you don't want to brick much of your games, go Charizard. Just know you're going to have some harder matchups, and for that reason, I had it as the number 2 in B.
Which I think,
Yeah.
when you look at Charizard now,
Yeah.
it turns into a lot more of a. And I'm sorry, I don't want to offend any Charizard players that may be listening. I think Charizard now is kind of just a giant skill gap. Because once you learn those matchups, I think you'll be. If you can consistently have a plan for every bad matchup, and you'll have a lot. Because if you have a plan for every bad matchup, you'll be fine. But you have good energy acceleration. You have good search.
Best search in the game. Yeah.
What do you
Bench
mean?
searching again. I'm pretty sure a lot of Charizard are still playing some sort of hand control, like Iono or Judge.
Yeah. 2 Iono, I believe.
You have Dusknoir to increase you have Dusknoir to take bench KO and increase your attack output.
Not even that.
You play Gust. Like, I think if you have a plan set for every bad matchup, you will not have a problem
That's fair.
finding
Yeah,
the
and-
way to make that plan happen in the game and potentially take a win.
Exactly.
Also,
I just
like-
think that's where like the skill gap comes into play, especially with Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I think Chris
like-
can like attest. Sorry, Richard, do you want to go? Or?
Also, like, yeah, I'll go. Also, like, Dusknoir just makes Mimikyu just like, oh.
Not many decks are playing Mimikyu right now, though. Like, that's not an issue.
I mean,
feel like
but,
you
or,
should
like,
be stressed out too much over at a regional right now. I think there's a
Yeah,
couple
I mean,
choice
like,
decks
Guardian
that'll
is
run it. Guardy could, they usually don't. Pidgeot Control 100% will. Wall decks are not popular right now. I wouldn't sweat those too much. Like, I think Guardy's safe. I don't think Dusknoir is really there for that. I think there's a lot of other
feel like
value that comes to mind first with Dusknoir.
it's like, I know what I'd play.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Let me run back my low tick, Noi, and corner next. Yummy, yummy.
Yeah. But this isn't about what we're playing. This is a general tier list for how people are going to be doing.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that would be my.
I don't know. I think Josh, though, building on the skill gap, I think that's why I got it in B. It's like, I think
It
people...
takes a lot to be able to pilot this deck in a very
Yeah.
meaningful way.
Yeah. And I think that's,
Yes.
again, B. Like, it's a great pick. I don't think it's amazing. I think it's got a lot of matchups that you just explained you need to prep for. And I think
Yeah.
if you're picking a deck that's in A, it's got to naturally take over in this format. And I don't think Charizard has that right now. I think you need to be a Charizard player and know how to navigate those matchups. And that, to me, like, keeps it out. But I don't mind it in A, I guess. I mean, I don't mind top of B. I don't mind moving Snorlax down one and putting this at top of B. I don't mind back of A. Yeah, it's up to y'all.
Mine's kind of more like mid back at A.
Yeah, mine's gonna be a little bit more biased considering I did play Zard exclusively for like 2 months.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Yeah, I'll put it in back at A. I can do that. I like that. That's fair. All right, jumping in. We got Ceruledge. I think we could all say C at the same time. Question mark?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
For those who haven't played Ceruledge, I got it with Palkia. I
Yeah.
feel like that's the best list we see with it. I think it's very mid. I think it's kind of underwhelming. It's a ton of fun, don't get me wrong. Great pick for a locals tournament. Great pick for a league challenge, league cup. Regionals, it's got bad matchups. It's going to be a hard time. You'll be consistent.
It is,
You'll be rough.
it is straight up terrifying. Like on the ladder, it's like it's abysmal.
Yeah, I feel like I usually
It is
take away
abysmal,
wins
but
against
it is
this deck.
abysmal. It is abysmal to match up against because
Oh,
it's
I
just,
don't know about that, dude. It's so straightforward. It's not. If you thought Charizard was straightforward, Ceruledge is a
oh no, I'm
singular
saying but, like,
straightforward line. Like it's very
no,
easy to get around.
oh, because what was it? I mean, I don't play the Palkia line, but like when I'm running it, and I have like I don't want to say consistently, but like on numerous occasions, I've literally like right before if I'm going first, I'm hitting like 270 turn 2.
Yeah. I mean, but hitting
And
270
then-
turn 2 into a format where it's like, you know, you're still not taking the first potential 2 prize KO or something. Like, your opponent could wait to evolve. You've got Briar to make comebacks if they did take the first 2 prize KO. I don't know. I got it in C. I don't know if there's an argument for higher.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. The amount of times I've seen Charizard just like cry.
Dude, Charizard obliterates this deck. Charizard
Dude,
destroys this deck.
If I go to third league challenge on Saturday and I see a Ceruledge, I'm going to stare at my opponent and ask them to sign the match flip. Like, that's just how it's gonna go.
Yeah, dude. Between Dusknoir to take out Radiant Greninja or Ceruledge, Charcadets, between Charizard having 2 high HP for Ceruledge to one-shot on turn 2, you just said you'll hit 270 turn 2. Charizard has 330. That's nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll use Defiance Band, they'll use Dusknoir to put themselves behind on prizes, proc an extra 30, take a KO with Dusknoir in the same way. Like, it's hard, man. So I got it in C.
And if you're really like a Ceruledge enjoyer and you take out like a Charmander or a Pidgey, you've just opened them up to counter catcher.
Yeah.
There's so many options that you just gave that Zard player.
Yeah. No, I think it's a hard spot right now for it.
I think it might just be the difference between playing it on the ladder versus playing it.
That's fair. No, that's totally fair. And it's also what you're playing. I don't know what you've been playing recently. I mean, you said you haven't played in a couple weeks, so it's going to be hard to see where it's at right now for some of these decks. And I think Ceruledge isn't popular where you totally know right now, like where it's at.
Yeah, I kind of was playing it when it like
Just dropped. Yeah, and it was hotter then. It was a lot hotter then. It was much more popular.
Dude, and I was also running like the nice 19 fire energy.
Yeah.
Just absolutely get torched.
Yeah.
And be like, I got 11 cards in my deck, and I have 2 researches in my hand. Like,
that's
and I
how
don't think
Ceruledge works, man. You don't care about your deck size, but yeah, no, I got it in C for now.
Unless if I'm versing Stall, which I think Ceruledge like fries.
Folds. Yeah. Squawk, Ninja, there's too many cards that it's a little too hard to work around. Next one up, we got Dragapult EX.
Basic Dragapult, I got it in
Raw
B.
Dog Drago.
B.
That's Drago with Pidgeot, right? Like Raw Dog
Yes.
Dragos?
Yes.
Okay, that's like the one that I saw Jose play.
Yeah. I got it in C. So we got BCD. Could we meet in the middle?
I have
Say
it
C.
in B simply because like I've said multiple times about this deck, a really good Dragapult player who knows how to place damage counters correctly will annihilate you before you even understand what's going on.
Yeah.
They already have the math in their head on what they're going to do to be able to take big KOs. But then again, that's not every Dragapult player. A majority of Dragapult players are going to be your average run-of-the-mill guy. They're going to place like 6 damage counters on the active, or they're going to place it on something that really doesn't matter.
We can't do it on the active. It has to go to bench. But yeah, no, I feel what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel what you mean.
They're going to place it in a way that doesn't really affect anything, and they might end up losing because of that.
But I still think C is fair. It's got decent matchups. Its matchup spread isn't bad. Like, when I look at D tier decks, I mean, I'll just jump down and throw it in now so I can get him an example. Like, Palkia Dusknoir. Dude, Palkia Dusknoir gets bodied by absolutely everything. Like, that, to me, is a D tier deck. Whereas Dragapult has solid matchups even without high-level damage counter placement or not knowing which is the optimal thing to target with those damage counters. I think that's what takes the deck to B tier, kind of where Josh is at. And I think that's kind of why I fall in the middle of you two at C. I think the regular person will be carried by Dragapult's HP and raw power and solid consistency. I think you can take that to a much higher level. I just don't think this is the perfect format for just raw dog Dragapult.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think
too quick.
Yeah.
the best way I could put it with my thinking is it's a worse Charizard until you learn the damage counter math.
I think it's a worse Charizard until you hop into the next deck, Dragapult Iron Thorns. And then all of a sudden, this is a new archetype that is insane right now. I got an NA.
A.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Switching real quick to the other Dragapult. This is the best way to play Dragapult, in my opinion. All of the bad matchups for Dragapult, a couple Iron Thorns really fixes. Like, really well. Playing Crispin as the engine as well. Oh my, it feels amazing. It feels so good. I definitely got this deck in A tier.
Yeah.
Me too, yeah. I kind of hate
In
that
front of
just fucking
Zard,
4
or
thorns
no?
into something makes it good now.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah. Anyways, that's totally not what I'm doing for Rogue Regional. It's Four Thorns, Crisp, and Arvin, man. I did it for my video. I was so happy to get that list out before I felt good figuring out a combo with Crispin. It works in quad Iron Thorns. You can stick other things in it. I think a 3-3 or 3-2-3, 3-1-3 Dragapult line is totally appropriate for an Iron Thorns deck.
Yeah.
Word.
I'd play 2 personally. I play 3-2-3 personally if I played it.
I don't remember what most people play. It might be 2
I've
Dragapults.
seen
I'm
it.
blanking, and that's on me forgetting. That's not. It probably is 3 or 2. Excuse me.
It's usually 2, I
Yeah,
think.
that's what I thought. Okay. So if we're all in agreement with that, and hey, how do we feel about Gardevoir?
Easy.
Okay.
I'm gonna hurt a lot of people by saying this. I don't have it anywhere above B.
I
think-
will also go with Avery on this one.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, Gardevoir.
Yeah, like
think-
Gardevoir has its placements, but it's just not in this format specifically.
Yeah, no, I
today,
get it. Yeah.
it's not
no,
good.
I definitely
Really?
agree with you now
Paladin
that I
could be
think about
rough.
it.
Star Chronos into a single prizer, and then Metal Blast, Gust, a Gardevoir EX are now taking 3 prizes at the end of the turn. Remember, generally, you just need to somehow get a vacuum to get 2 prizes. That's going to be a little hard to navigate. Iron Thorns,
what was it?
Dragapult abuses Gardevoir. Dragapult in general just kind of abuses Gardevoir because you need to put a lot of damage on Driftbloom to be able to KO a Dragapult, but then the next Dragapult, all they got to do is Gust around that one. They're taking 2 prizes very easily,
Take
very
a
frequently.
Kirlia.
Yeah, exactly.
Take it
Ancient
to
Box,
Kirlia.
Josh, you can't tell me Ancient Box is a bad matchup for you playing Gardevoir. Like, I know it's not. Yeah, exactly. Charizard, first deck in 8's here. We're looking at a 50-50. We're 3 for 4 on bad matchups.
Yeah,
Not
no,
bad,
I didn't
unfavored matchups. Yeah, I got her
Drago,
beat.
You see Drago, it's not going to be fun.
Drago's hard, man.
You
Yeah,
stall, it's not
exactly.
gonna be
Drago's-
fun.
Exactly.
Drago
Unless you're
ma-
playing
You see-
Turo, but some people aren't playing Turo in Guardy right now, and I think
Yeah, but
they're
you're
leaning
playing
more
how many
screen kills.
Turo?
They'll play 1, but they've got Palpad, so they could like loop stuff. Like, to be
You're
fair,
playing 1 with a pal pad. so
good
you're playing
Gardevoir
at most
players
2.
only need 1 with a Palpad, and they'll make it work. But I think a lot of people are cutting that to put Screamtail in their deck more to take out more bench 2 prize liabilities to deal with those A-tier decks. So I've seen Turo be less common, and I think that's kind of, these are changes that keep Gardevoir in B tier. Not to mention, this is probably the hardest deck on this tier list to master, and you're playing a best of 1 format in America or other countries like, Brazil and England, like the other 2 regionals we're talking about, where, we're all in a best of 3 format. This is not the Champions League, where it's a best of 1, and I think Gardevoir doesn't necessarily play as well into the best of 3. It adds another element that's hard to play. I got it in B.
Exactly. Gardevoir, if you used more than like half of your match timer, which you're going to on your first match, and you lose, you're cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's stuff like that I'm taking into account right now. It's not just the playability, the matchup spread. It's other skills that go outside of this. Thinking exactly to that right there. If you lose match 1, like Avery said, game over.
True.
Yeah. Jumping into the next one, Cerulage's cousin, the original Goldengo EX.
I got this thing. I moved it down to C. I think Golden Go has potential. It's there, but it's literally just Tianpao with like slightly better math. It's just really like you have Energy Search Pro, which is really good for taking an Oko on anything in the game. But aside from that, you getting your energy back is going to be slightly difficult. With the amount of big and brawlic Pokemon that we have now, you're using 6 to 7 energy just to be able to get that Oko. And like you can play as many energy retrievals, superior energy retrievals that you want. You're just gonna get cooked on that next turn because you're a low amount of HP and things like that. Tianpao fell off because of a similar circumstance, and Golden Go is falling off because of the same thing. We need to understand that like basics that hit big numbers are not gonna be good because they hit big numbers. They're gonna be good because of their consistency. Like you could reliably get your energy retrievals with Tianpao because you just had Iridas out the wazoo. Irida for energy retrieval, and then like you just grab yourself something else. You grab yourself a Palkia. You can use Palkia to bring back energy. There's nothing like that in this deck. It is literally just get energy, swing.
I think
There's
the
nothing
best
really
thing
helping
they
it.
have is Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking, where it's a very similar effect, but it's not as strong in early game setup. And I think that's the difference between Iridas and Cypher Maniacs.
Yeah.
Cypher Maniacs you can only use once you got a Goldengo. You can't get Tianpao rolling without Irida. Like, that's already the support you're hoping for the first turn of the game and the last turn of the game. Goldengo, it's not the case. So, yeah, no, I'm doubling everything Avery said. Top of C. I had it in top of C, honestly. You know, like upper C,
Yeah, I have it
top
in
of C.
B
Yeah, I think
for one
B is
reason and
rough.
one reason only.
Yeah.
I think, and it might be a reason to put it into C, but it's a reason I put it into B.
That's fair. Hit.
It really just depends on how you flip, because if you can manage to, if you can flip 2 heads, you're winning most of the time. It's
That's
not
C tier
hard
to
to
me.
find. It's not hard to find 2 energy retrieval and take
I
a second
understand.
KO, in
Yeah.
my opinion. But the second you have to find the other 2 and take your 3rd KO to win the game, it makes it much harder.
But the second we're relying on a coin flip with Togekiss is assuming we
That's
got
immediately
Togekiss
C.
into play fast enough.
Yeah.
Dusknoir didn't take it out. You didn't use damage counters from Dragapult to take it out. You didn't get Star Chronos by a Dialga and have that gone. Like, now we're relying on a gambling
not
mechanic, and it's not
prized.
Pokemon Catcher. Yeah, it's not prized. That's
Yeah.
so true. If you're Avery, I know it's in the prizes. Now we're relying on a
I got both
gambling
of them in there.
mechanic that's not like Pokemon Catcher, where it's an optional gust that we could live without. Now we're relying on a gambling mechanic to win matches. That bumps it to C for me. Again, I'm
Yeah,
not
true.
saying someone's gonna not flip heads every time and win that regional with it. Like, you can. It's still Goldengo. It's still a strong deck. You could still hit those big numbers. It's just harder. I think you just got a little bit more work for yourself than if you're playing like Raging Bolt, for example, where you're still getting rid of a lot of energy and needing to do a lot of that.
I would say for Goldengo,
Yeah.
give it a couple sets. It doesn't rotate. Nothing. Really,
Post
I don't think much.
rotation. Yes.
I don't think much rotates in the deck. The
Yep.
second you find a good endgame basic attacker for that deck, it takes off. I'm trying to play it right now with Ursaluna. It's not awful, but
I just
again,
think
you
it
see
needs to be a
those.
single prize
You
attack
see
in the
those.
late game.
You see those
Yeah.
bigger. You see those bigger things late game. You see a Raging Bolt. You're fine. You're playing against quite literally anything else that's a
If you look at
two-prizer that
three of
has
our
more than
top
240
four,
health.
it's rough,
You're
yeah.
rough. Yeah, no, yeah,
Paladin
that's what I'm
EX,
saying.
Dragapult EX, Charizard EX.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, no, I get exactly
Even my
what you mean.
Lodic Noivern, it's a struggle.
Dude,
Even-
mirror match, second
Yeah.
Goldengo. It's rough. Yeah.
Here's the thing that worries me about all of this though is that we are going to be seeing Ends of Zoroark become top of the meta. It
Yeah.
happened with the Zoroark GX. Ends Zoroark is going to be the best deck in the format when it drops. So depending on how Goldengo goes into that matchup, it could even be lower. Because we also are
Yeah.
going to be seeing a lot more trainers Pokemon printed even after this set. They could make something absolutely busted for N. They could make a Lily card that's absolutely busted. This is just their drop in the bucket. We could be seeing a whole tide shift with this meta. Raging Bolt could be in don't play within the next few months. We don't know what's going to be happening.
True.
I'd cry tears of joy.
But for right now, these are the cards we
As
have
of
in front
right now,
of us.
yeah.
This is the regionals people are prepping for. I got it in C. This is not a deck I personally would bring. I know the Cheese Stick Man is a popular one, though. I just think you're signing yourself up for a bit more work than you might want to initially. For everything
Exactly.
we
It's
kind
fun.
of just said. Not saying it's not fun.
It's fun.
Not saying
You
it's
could
not
day
fun. It's
two.
so much fun. It
I
is so
think.
much fun to play. Yeah.
You couldn't.
Bring this to
It's
your local.
fun.
Bring it to your
You'll-
challenges, your cups.
No, listen. I think you could day 2 it at a regional. I just don't think you're going any further than that.
Yeah.
I think Goldengo can find its way into day 2.
I agree.
The second it gets into day 2, it's not going to perform
It's gonna
well yet.
it's gonna have a rough time in day 2. I got it in C though for that. It's gonna be a hard one.
Yeah,
So
but we said
I
that
agree.
about what was it? Where did Chow win? Wasn't it
where did who?
with Guardy?
Guardies and B.
Remember when?
I don't have a guard.
No,
at
I
Guardies
was
level.
I was saying like remember when we all said that Guardy was gonna do dog water and then it did.
Well, that's because the Guardy Masters just showed up. Like,
Yeah.
imagine how
Mhm.
many like average Guardy players got knocked out after like round 4 of the regional.
Yeah, we're not saying that it's losing because it's in C. We're saying it's gonna be a diehard Cheese Stick Man fan that's taken this the farthest.
You gotta really like cheese, bro,
Real.
to play this well.
Next deck we got up is Gouging Fire EX.
Don't play it.
Cool.
Just-
Anyone else?
It's just not worth it.
Don't play. All right, cool. Don't play.
I don't
Um,
even know the 60, but when I saw
it's-
it, I was like, "That's totally a D tier."
I've explained it before. It's Miraidon and Raging Bolt's interesting cousin. It's tankier than Miraidon, like Raging Bolt, but it doesn't swing for infinite damage like Raging Bolt, and it's not as fast as Miraidon is. So it's kind of just like an awkward mix between the two that I think you could just play either of those and probably have a better time. Got it in D. Yeah, we could jump on. I think that's pretty fair. Hydreigon EX.
I have it in don't play specifically for the reason that people are experimenting too much and they are making it a problem. The only way you play this deck is with Pidgeot. Stop trying to be unique. Like this, don't be creative. Just play it how it's meant to be played. I'm not gonna sit here and play Charizard with Iridas and Baxcaliburs just because it might seem funny. Like, you guys are taking way too much liberty with this list. It is the most consistent when you get whatever card you want when you need it. The amount of times you can just Pidgeot for your Neo Upper and Crispin, and then there you go. Your opponent now needs to figure that out or they lose. It's just that simple. It's not that deep. We're overcomplicating things.
For that, I want it in the back of C. Take a simple Hydreigon list. It's going to be a good rogue deck. It'll be solid. I got it in like mid-C. That's where I had it. A good rogue deck, Hydreigon.
With the amount of support Pokemon that people are playing, they're just throwing the minions on the bench. They're throwing down Rotoms. They're throwing down...
Well, I think Rotom and Lumineon kind of come in the Pidgeot Arven package. I think those are necessary. I think Lumineon is more cuttable, but I think Rotom, it's a stage 2 deck. You're playing the Pidgeot Arven combo. I think Force Seal Stone does make it cracked. I like Rotom.
I'm basically saying that, like, you could just Obsidian on those Pokemon, and then they have 2 prize liabilities, both with one shot.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, like...
No, I got it in C. For that. For that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I like this as a rogue pick. I think this deck is alright. Got some rough matchups,
Absolutely.
but because of overcomplication, I think this, at its simplest form, performs the highest. Moving into an ancient one. Oh, what's up, Rich?
I also, Hydreigon's like actually terrifying, especially, it depends, it's very much dependent on the oh my god, I can't speak, the popularity of decks like Miraidon, and like,
no, it'll swing well into almost anything because of Obsidian, dude. If you think about it,
oh yeah,
Obsidian swings 130 and then their top attack swings 200. That's 330. They're taking out everything with just
it's 130? I thought it was 110.
No, it's 130 to 3 Pokemon and then 200 to active with the top attack. So you could just go, like if you're up against Charizard, Obsidian, swing into Lumineon and Rotom on bench or whatever they got, and then boom, Crashing Headbutt.
And Fez.
Into active. And now, and Fez, perfect. And then Crashing Headbutt, you're KOing Charizard next turn, and then you could do Obsidian again and clean up the last 4 prizes. Like, it's not... It's there.
Yeah,
it's solid.
It's kind of... Dude, Miraidon, it's like actually...
Miraidon's not as popular right now, but we'll get to Miraidon. It's coming up soon. We got a bunch more decks. We're pretty far into this. I want to make sure we're just moving a little bit. I apologize. Incineroar, I do have up next. And I got that in the middle of B tier.
Where do you have it?
In middle of B tier, dude. This is
really
better than Rogue. It does not belong in with Goldango, Dragapult, Hydreigon, and Ceruledge. I watched Rachel play this deck yesterday for 2.5 hours. Dude, she lost 3 times. I played it the day before. I went on a 6-win streak with it. Like,
I'm not educated to
That's
make
fair.
opinion.
Dude, I played it in my video that went up yesterday. So I recorded it 2 days ago. I played it for the video. 1 warm-up match, I'm not going to lie, won 2 out of the next 3 matches for my video, and then I proceeded to win another 3 after that, just because I was having fun. Like, this deck is low-key nuts right now. Area Zero Underdepths is way too popular. This deck swings 240 every single turn for 1 energy, 2 max. And if you're putting 2 energy, it's because you're using Reprisal to swing for double damage counters already done to you. So if you've got 150 damage done to you, boom, you're swinging 300 because you play Relicanth, then your Litten is the one with that. It's nuts.
Yeah, I didn't know that was
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Dude, this deck has your backup attacker is your other 4 attacks from Incineroar's evolutions. It's actually insane how strong this deck was. I'm not even joking. Rachel's one of my favorites to win the Rogue Regional because of this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got a funny little Iron Thorns that might say no to that, but
Well,
you know.
so do I, but like, don't tell her that.
I don't know, because I don't know. It's also just like, it's very dependent on...
Your opponent's bench being big?
Yeah.
Because it's not. You play Relicanth, if they don't make a big bench, that means they're attacking you. So you play Relicanth, which allows you to use pre-evolution attacks, which means you could use Litten to swing for double damage counters. Most decks are 2-shotting this, because you are playing... You have 320 HP. And if you want to tell me a deck that's not 2-shotting it, you're going to tell me Raging Bolt first, and I'm going to tell you Raging Bolt has a big bench, so you're swinging 1 energy 240. Like, it's stuff like that. All the decks that one-shot this need a big bench, or they can't do it.
That's so true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not Ancient Box.
Not Ancient Box, but Ancient Box can't one-shot it immediately.
I know.
Yeah. I think Ancient Box is a harder match for this deck. While we're on the topic of that, though, I think single prize decks, similar to Charizard pre-Dusknoir, single prize decks are a little difficult.
I see
Give me a
Incineroar
Warbird.
with Ancient Box. I'm just putting Flutter Mane in the active, and I'm quite literally doing nothing until I get just one shot.
Which is fine. I mean, this deck plays Gust, though. Like, it plays Prime Catcher 2 Boss is the build I had for it. Like, you could get around a Flutter Mane or two while you were sitting in the Yeah.
I could just only bench Flutter Mane until the end of the game. It's not that difficult with Ancient Box.
That's fair. That's a good point.
That's what I love about Ancient Box.
Yeah.
You don't got to bench anything.
But they also have other attackers that you could use. You could just spam Torcat's attack, protect yourself from the one shot if that's like the route you're taking because you'll live with 10 HP. Like that's what I mean, man. This deck has so many options. It's actually insane. I got it in B.
Be a shame if I were to play one Mimikyu.
They play Radiant Charizard. They'll be alright. They'll
True.
gust around it until the end and use that Radzard. And they play Mellow, Magma Base, and Manual Attach has 3 energy. They'll do Radzard mid game if you want. Like,
But my question is, what is stopping this? Why is this not? There's a reason that this is not exploded.
it's
Why?
not well played enough for me to put it higher right now. It's still.
I mean, why is it not played? Is what I'm saying. There's a reason. There
That
has
I
to be a
don't
reason
know.
that this deck has not actually been.
Couldn't tell you. I have no idea,
Really?
dude. I had a great time playing this with Rachel. I had a great time playing it myself. I mean, like, this deck is awesome. It did really well. I think it's just one of those EXs that people forgot about for what? It's like, I'm worried Hydreigon was kind of following in that similar boat where it came off. It was pretty popular for a little bit. A couple people played it. People kind of overcomplicated it. It got a little rough. People forgot about it by the time the next set came out. Hydreigon is kind of following that similar play rate where it's taken a huge dip. There's always an EX that people forget about that's kind of amazing. It happened with VMAX Pokemon all the time. Aggron VMAX was in the format for, what, a year? And then all of a sudden it won Worlds and people didn't even know the card existed. Like, you know, this happens every now and then. Sometimes an EX is just kind of forgotten. Dialga, yes! Dude, Regidrago V-Star. Abysmal. And then all of a sudden, 8-9 months before it rotates, it's the best deck in the format. It's like this happens every now and then. I think Incineroar is kind of in that boat right now, too. I think post-rotation, this is going to be a fun one to run. If it's not already. I think it's kind of fun already. Low-key, I'd bring this to a regional. I got no problems with it. This is a fun deck. It does pretty well.
Does it lose a lot of supporter count with rotation, or no?
No, not really.
Is
Play
Arvin?
Arvin, Iono, 1 Mellow, 1 Turo, couple Boss.
I just like I forget
No.
what
Yeah,
rotation.
it's good. It's solid, man. I like it.
I didn't realize that Irina was gonna rotate.
Yeah, you're just
Fine,
going.
good
It
riddance,
hurts.
bro.
I will be making a video. Maybe we could do that for a pod episode. All the stuff that rotates, what we'll miss, what's gone, all that stuff. That'll be a good one. Jumping into the next one, though, that I got my Incineroar right out of the way. I'm sorry, I have to keep it in B out of principle. It was too good for me. I have Iron Thorns, Quad Thorns.
B.
Cool. Avery?
It's just kind of middle of the road, in my opinion.
Is just like, are you lucky, or are you not?
Anything different, Avery? If not, I'm leaving it in B. We're moving on. Okay, cool. That's what I was thinking. Anyways, we got
Good talk,
Cloth
good talk.
up next. Avery, did you
Oh.
mute yourself? Please don't tell me you did.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello,
He might.
everyone.
hello.
Good now? Hello?
Yes, you're good.
There you go.
Okay. I was like, there's no way you're ignoring me. I see your
My
mouse
headset does
moving.
this funny thing because it just loves to disconnect, and then when it reconnects, it just cuts it out.
You're all good, bro. I'm just making fun
But,
of you. Do you have anything different for Iron Thorns, or are we good to jump to Cloth?
It exists. It's there. That's it.
Yeah,
B
it's
tier, man. It's got
exactly
some
how I
great
feel.
matchups. It's simple. Run
Nothing
it
to
if
say
you don't
about
know
it.
it. If you don't know what to play, great safety pick. Cloth. How are we feeling about Cloth?
Is that
It's
like
cool.
cloth like electrode?
Yeah, except it uses Electro just with super effective glasses for Charizard and I guess Hydreigon. Other than that, you use the single press Petrunt for some poison damage against the big EX decks that take a second to evolve. You play Cloth, a fighting type actually swings solidly well. It's a single prize attacker that two-shots pretty much any EX. I got it in B. Dead.
in B.
I got it in
Nice.
upper. I got it in the upper middle of B.
I'll take that.
I have an upper
is
B.
it?
It's not It's not bad. It doesn't really. I don't think it has very many bad matchups.
No, it's got some decent matchups. It's got a couple rough
Yeah.
ones, but join the club. Every deck has a couple rough matchups right now. Yep, I'm there.
I actually was gonna put it in C just because of Cloth just almost always falls into the consistency.
I don't think you've seen the newest version of Cloth, Rich. The newest version of Cloth has zero problems with consistency.
Oh,
Playing Latias EX, Fesendipity EX, Squawkabilly EX, Terrapagos for Area Zero, Cloth, Hisuian Electro, Radiant Sneasler, what am I forgetting? Single Press Petron EX for the Switch. It's so...
Oh my god. Tenacity.
Colress's Tenacity, Search Your DTE, and your Stadiums. Yeah, no, this deck is tough.
We'll do it.
Upper B, I like that. That's a good pick for Cloth. If you're a Cloth believer, now's a good time for it. Next up on the table, we got Lost Box with Pikachu EX.
I got this in D.
Perspective.
Really?
Yeah, I had it in C and like bottom of C.
I wouldn't see.
Yeah. I think Pikachu's a really strong attacker. He hits for some good numbers. I don't think it's a don't play deck. I think it's surprising. I think it's a rough rogue deck right now, but it's still a Lost Box deck. I think that's always kind of hard for some decks to deal with. If it's D, it's got to be the tippy top most D deck. It's just like when I put this next to Gouging Fire or like Palkia Dusknoir, I feel like it doesn't belong there. It was my problem with
I just think it's too precise.
Yeah.
I just think that like it takes a little bit to get 7 cards in the Lost Zone, and by then, if your Pikachu's already on the bench, like that thing's gonna get targeted. Like there's just other ways to play Pikachu that make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what sets it back for me. I just think that when you so my example is when you attack with Pikachu and you discard your 3 energy. What now? How do you play it? Do you have to Rod Mirage Gate them back? Do you have to attach for a hand and Mirage Gate 2 different energies to it to end up attacking for a second time in a row?
Yeah, you go Rod, attach, Mirage Gate is the play.
Like, that's
or you
crazy.
have like an Hourglass play or something like that where you could kind of loop one back at the end of your turn. There's ways around it. The goal in this deck though is only to use Pikachu like twice. You're only recycling it once. If you think about it, it's almost like Kyogre pre-last rotation. Celebration's
at that point,
Kyogre is similar-ish concept.
At that point, just why not just play Radiant Charizard? What does Pikachu provide that Radiant Charizard doesn't? Besides for a Pidgeot one shot.
I've got Sablezard in the back of B for exactly what you're about to just get into.
The back of B.
Single prize.
I have it in the middle of B.
I think it's got a couple slightly rough matchups right now.
I agree. I think
awkward.
It blows against Ancient Box, first of all.
Yeah, and I think
Not
Dragapult
fun
Iron
against
Thorn's
Drago.
bad too, because your primary attackers are Blood Moon Ursaluna and Radiant Charizard. Both of those get shut down by Iron Thorns. Charizard is a solid matchup. Dialga, interesting matchup. They can fall back on Arch Aladdin, and after they swing with that, they don't have a fire weakness, and that makes it really weird. So yeah, I got it at back of B. I think this is the Lost Box deck to play.
The only thing that I could think of that would make what ace spec is usually ran with Mossard.
You could play Legacy, Secret Box, or Prime Catcher. Literally any of them. I personally have ran Secret Box.
I was gonna say because the only thing I could think of to be better into Arch Aladdin Dialga, which I honestly think is straight up gonna be like a nice 15% of the deck's play.
It could be, yeah. It could totally hit 10 to 15. That's a solid guess.
Because, I mean, what was it? Oh my god, what do you call it? Max Belt.
Max Belt is not worth it. Max Belt's definitely not worth it.
Just for the Arch Aladdin.
I don't think it's worth it for that.
You run.
I think Prime Catcher is better. I think Prime Catcher you get more use out of in other matchups, and it fixes the same problem. You'll still take a 2-price KO on a benched Arch Aladdin that's not weak to fire.
Oh, it's so true. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, but it also gives you more gust in other matches. I like that though. Back of B.
And also just like running. Honestly, straight up, I think big.
You got it, buddy.
Big tech for like this whole, yeah, I know. Hey, bro, the caffeine's wearing off.
Well, keep it going. Our time ain't.
What was it? I just think like choice belt in general, as much as it's like kind of like not a hot pick
Oh, play
right now.
Defiance Band. Defiance Band in that deck is fine. I don't know if you need choice belt at the moment.
I was gonna say just for
put-
just
yeah. But behind
just
one
for,
prize, you get the extra 30. For
drag
V-Stars.
for Drago and for Dialga.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think Defiance Band gets the job done in a deck like this.
That's also
You
true.
can also set yourself up for a multiple prize Sable turn if you don't have either of those. Like, I don't know if the whole choice belt is needed.
Forget about Sable.
Yeah. Lugia V-Star is the deck up next.
I got it at like the very bottom of D, if not top of D. I think if you're not Rahul and you don't know how to pilot this deck with the best of your ability, you're just not worth playing Lugia.
All right, real quick.
You beat me out. My entire thing was if you're not Rahul, don't play.
Dude, this deck has some decent matchups right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, yeah, but also
I had it in B tier, low B. Had it in B.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
only do so
I
much,
think
though, man.
Lugia is low key. This is a decent time to bring it back out. I don't think it's the best time. I don't think it's perfect, but I think we're getting back to a Lugia phase, man. And Lugia always does this. It goes up, it goes down, and unless you're Rahul, you can't play it when it's down. Right now, I think we're kind of at a point where we can start. You're gonna start seeing people take it out a little bit more and a little bit more. I think it swings well into Dialga. I think it swings well into Charizard. It swings well into Guardy. Stalls an auto win because you play so many Jet Energy and so many attackers. Iron Thorns, little rough. Lugia right now has adapted to it. You play a copy of Flutter Mane, so you can just use the ability the one time you need to use it all game. Or Canceling Cologne. Either of them work. Like, honestly, even Ancient Box is a little tricky just because you fall back on the Minccino line and you just trade single prizers. And if you catch Ancient Box with a good Iono, yeah, I mean, Lugia, I don't know. I think we're a little bit back into the Lugia meta.
we'll find out at the regional.
Lugia,
Yeah.
it's Lugia. Now, like when you think about it, it has to come back before rotation.
I
freaking
think it's
Lugia.
a B tier deck, a bottom one right now, but I got it in B, man.
I think all the people that we hated when we first started playing, all the people that used to run Lugia when like we first started, like my first regionals are gonna bring it back.
Dude, that's what I mean. I think
better.
it's a little better right now. I think this format is a little more Lugia friendly.
It's gonna fall into the oh my god, was it Rapid Strike or Single Strike or
Yeah.
Silver Tempest.
was the stinky one.
No, it wasn't Silver
was
Tempest.
the
Those were
one?
two different phases.
Whichever one I saw, and like I was like, yeah, this is my bad matchup.
Yeah, no, that was
I remember
Charlotte.
that was Rapid Strike.
I don't know if it's as good as it was then, Rich. Actually, Lugia was probably one of the best decks when we were playing then. I think now Lugia's
No, I'm saying no.
very
I'm
okay.
To
but
how,
very,
no,
very okay.
I'm referring to Lugia as the Rapid Strike.
No, that deck had a lot of positive matchups. It just wasn't super popular because it was hard. I think Lugia is very easy to play. I think it's pretty simple. I just think its matchups are getting back to a point where it's okay. That's why I had it in bottom B. I won't put it in middle C. I don't think we can right now. I think if you actually sat down and looked at its matchup spread, you'd be pleasantly, or not pleasantly. No, I know none of us like to see Lugia do amazing, but it's doing better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like that since it's rotating soon, and a lot of people, it's gonna be their last time being able to play it.
That's true. It'll see playability, but that's not why I have it in B. Is not the popularity of it. Its matchup spread is better. Its matchup spread is a lot better than it was.
Oh yeah, I forget that. That's.
Yeah.
I just know there's gonna be a lot. I'm keeping on thinking of like. It is gonna be a lot. I would not be surprised if it broke 10% of. Of decks being played at regionals.
Jumping in to the next one though, I got the two wall decks, Melodic Noivern and Ogerpon Mimikyu. I got both of them in C. I don't think either are consistent enough, and I think there's too many stuff in the format that can kind of just get around it. Yes, absolutely. I don't know if they're not performing well. They're just not. In theory, on paper, they perform amazing. You take it into practice, and people just kind of read the card. They lose to it probably the first match, and then match 2 and 3, they figured out how to adapt to it.
No, yeah, that's straight up how some of my matches went when I played.
Yeah, and I think Dusknoir is a big part of that reason.
Yeah, I think that deck again. That's going back into when you look at that thing's match, well, not that thing, but you look at its matchups. I think the way that deck wins is the element of surprise.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of how Stall was when it first started, where
I agree.
when you don't know how to deal with it, that's when it's the best. And
Mhm.
again, a good player with it, I think, who really understands the meta, who really understands, could day two with it. But again, to me, it's one of those decks where you could day two with it, but
It's hard and
this thing
super
is
matchup
not.
dependent.
This thing
Super
is
matchup
not
dependent.
touching a top 8 for a long time, or a top cut for a
yeah.
long time, in my opinion.
Unless you have like a
I-
Charizard only run and you're playing
Yeah.
the Ogre Pond build.
If you have like
Uh-huh.
my Charlotte run,
Yeah.
I think that thing makes day two of
Bro,
my
I
Charlotte
think
run, where you see,
I think
where
most
you've
of
seen
them
5 Charizards, you saw Guardy, you saw a
Yeah,
Reed,
no, I
a
agree.
Reggie's.
I agree.
Like, I think that's one.
dude. I mean, what was it? Oh, you're referring to Charlotte. Like, what was it?
Last season,
Yeah.
a year ago, like,
Yeah, you need just
The
an all
next week.
Charizard run. If you don't have that, I think it's
Yeah.
going to be too hard for you to do too well. I mean, look at the top 4 decks again.
Draco.
You know, Dialga could get through pretty much everything in those except for the Mimikyus, which you could use Duraludins for in Archaladin. Dragapults can just gust around stuff and use its damage counter spread. It also swings into Ogerpon. It doesn't have abilities. Ancient Box, okay, gets shut down by Noivern, but if you're playing Mimikyu Ogerpon, which I think is the better of the two, you're not problematic into anything. You could use everything as an attacker. And Charizard, okay, Charizard's probably the best matchup for both of those decks. But Double Dusknoir can take out Noivern, it could take out Melodic, it could take out one Mimikyu, it could take out Ogerpon. You know, like they might play Cologne.
Dude,
Anyways, it's yeah, I got to see.
Dusknoir dropped. Like, it makes me sad.
Yeah, man. Jumping into the next one, we got Miraidon EX.
I would see.
It's unfortunate Mr. Ties isn't here, but I have it also in the
Facts.
same spot.
Me too. Rich, anything different? If not, Miraidon
Wait, what did you say?
C tier.
It's just not right. It's just not there right
This
now.
is not the
It's just
format for
missing.
Miraidon. It's
No.
losing to all 4 of the top decks right now.
Mm-hmm.
Next deck up, I think the sleeper pick of any regional coming up is Palkia Terapagos.
I got this at the top of B.
I'll
I
put it
think
there as
the
well.
ability of Palkia Palkia needed something to just swing even harder, and
Yeah.
this is exactly what it was.
Yes.
Terapagos is there, that's cool, you know what I mean? You have your Terra Pokemon
It's
to
there
fill
for the
requirement.
knockdowns, dude.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then if you don't get your knockdowns, like, you're gonna have a little bit more of a rough game. But
But it's still
also,
Palkia. It's not the worst thing to have
it's
a rough
still
game. to fall
Palkia,
into. Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
You just still swing.
Oh,
You still
man.
swing. You don't need it. Like, you just swing into them, and they're just like, oh, okay, awesome.
Its matchup spread is amazing right now. It performs really well when people run it. And if you look at people posting on like Twitter and stuff, dude, they're winning League Cups, they're winning League Challenges, and they're like, wait, this deck is like low-key, kind of like super consistent, annihilating everything. Dude, Palkia Knockdown is like, I think it's just not researched enough, and I haven't played it enough to put it in A. But like, this is a deck, if I was going to a regional in the next 2 weeks, I'd look into playing because it's such a sleeper pick and it's so strong right now.
Anybody got anything different?
Nah.
No.
Word. Jumping into the next deck, I think the closest one I currently have had to BDIF since I've been doing these tier lists, Pidgeot Control, I think is at, in my opinion, since we've done the podcast, this is the closest we've seen to complete perfect match, like not perfect, but great matchups everywhere. I have it at the top of A.
I agree. I think that deck is we're at a point now. People are just finding new, consistent ways to spice it up all the time.
Not even people, dude. King Heracross and All Out Blitzel. Every
Blitzel
tournament
is
they've joined.
Single-handedly making this deck insane.
Yeah.
Every tournament they've joined in the past like 3 weeks, they've won. Not came in second, won. I mean, like, this is insane right now. The tear those two are on, and the insane, like, popularity that they've kind of sparked in the control community with Pidgeot EX. I, like, maybe it's someone who else it should be attributed to, but I see them 24/7. I watch their videos. I see King Heracross on Twitter. I'm looking at tournament results. I'm seeing their names every single time, taking down tournaments and going almost undefeated, or like 1 or 2 losses every time. Like, Pidgeot Control top A, I'd sit for a BDIF argument. I don't think it's at BDIF yet. I think Archaladin is a really rough matchup for it, and I think that kinda, with the popularity of it, keeps it out of BDIF. I got it as a perfect A tier deck, though.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better
I
myself.
really couldn't have said it much better myself.
Fair. Fair.
Yeah, the only thing I have to add is I hate Pidgeot with a burning passion.
Hey
but
man, Pidgeot
anyway.
Control's a fun one though. I'll take that.
Nah, I had a level 100 Pidgeot in Heart Gold. I can't hate Pidgeot.
That's fair.
Pidgeot was my
honestly-
first Pokemon to sweep the Elite Four in Pokemon Blue.
That's fair. Those are all valid Pidgeot takes. I can't disagree with any of them.
A part of me
Raging
just
Bolt
wants to burn
is the
card.
next deck up.
I got it at the bottom of A. I think Raging Bolt is still like a really solid pick. I think that its ability to just blow things up is still really nice. But also, I'm sure it's probably not doing the best as far as matchups go. So we can
It has
bet
some
down.
rough
Bottom
matchups.
B. Like bottom B, bro.
I
the
have it in
Charizard
top B.
matchup, the once favored matchup, yeah, Briar's kind of cooked Raging Bolt. Ancient Box, always been awful. Dragapult, Iron Thorns, bad. It's just not good. Arch,
Not
Aladdin,
fun,
Dialga,
Arch-Aladdin.
Star Chronos,
Not
Ogre
fun,
Pond, Star...
Arch-Aladdin.
What?
I was saying not fun Arch Aladdin.
No, yeah, Star Chronos, Ogre Pond, Star Chronos, Ogre Pond, boom, you're cooked. Pidgeot Control, free. For Pidgeot, like not for Raging Bolt. I got it bottom B.
Bro,
like-
I'm not gonna lie. That was like, what was it?
Or lower B, not bottom, lower.
Or what was it? Oh my god, when we went to Charlotte and dude, I saw nothing but Ancient Box and.
But it's
Raging
been a
Bolt.
long time since Charlotte, Rich. Like the format
And
has
it's
changed
just-
a lot. We've got
That's
so
so
many
true,
more
but
decks.
it's
been a
just
year.
like, yeah, but you know,
Charlotte was a
yeah,
year
it's
next
literally been a year, dude. You know, like I know we saw a lot of Raging Bolt at Charlotte. Right now, we're also, I think, seeing less of it. And I
Oh,
think that's for-
Baltimore! I keep on thinking Baltimore, Charlotte.
Even
I'm-
still, dude, that was still in the fall, man. I mean, it's
Yeah,
the format
but well,
has changed
you know what?
exponentially.
Yeah, but
and I
you know
think-
what never changed? A, Raging Bolt's list, and B, Noivern never rotated. So
Yeah, but Noivern's
Um,
not popular right now. Not even Reggie Drago
virtual.
plays it because you don't get the benefit out of it because Raging Bolt can gust around it. And I think that even though the list never changed, that's part of the reason why the decks that are in A tier are in A tier and Raging Bolt's not. Their lists have changed. Charizard's added Briar, and that's all it really needed to flip the tide on Raging Bolt. Ancient Box didn't need to change its list for Raging Bolt because it's always had a great matchup. Dragapult has adapted by playing Iron Thorns. Arch Aladdin is new and exists and makes its Dialga counterpart better into Raging Bolt. And then Pidgeot can bully it with Mimic Use or stall it out with Wellspring Ogre Pond, stuff like that. And I think that's why it's lower
Yeah.
B. Look at Palkia
Oh, no,
Knockdown,
I
the deck we
agree.
were
It's
hyping up
just
before.
gets
Palkia is
stinky
going to
now.
start swinging harder into Raging Bolt now.
it does. It gets absolutely
Yeah.
beat on, and I'm so happy for it because Raging Bolt, stinky deck.
Yeah. Avery, unless you want to move it higher, I had it at lower B. I had it like under Guardy.
I agree with lower B. It's
Nah, you
just-
guys have definitely cooked me on that one. I'm not even gonna lie,
Okay.
I was completely wrong.
It's
No,
matchups.
that's and
just
it's not
suck.
about you being right or wrong. It's Raging Bull. I cannot blame you for going off vibes and putting in A tier. Its vibes deserve A tier. Its matchup spread right now, like the mathematical backing, the science behind what's going on, like numbers wise, it's not doing well, and I'm not afraid to say that, even if people don't necessarily want to hear it.
Nah, you're right. I cooked a Raging Bolt this weekend. What am I thinking?
There it is, man. And you were playing Charizard. That's supposed to be a good matchup for them. Like, yeah. Next up, Regidrago V-Star. Another
No.
deck I'm going to make
BDIF.
people upset in B tier.
I got that in
Really?
BDIF for the simple fact. Now, it's not because of no
You can't
stats.
ride- You can't
nothing.
ride on that again.
It's because my son's setting Ogre Pawn off the table
I-
with that play.
I accepted that last time. That's not going to fly for me this
I
time,
think-
man. It's been a
I-
month
That,
and
all
a
right,
half.
fine. We'll put it in B. All right. I think Regidrago's got a lot of tools.
Dude, its matchup spread is rough, man. Okay, so the way I think of A tier, right, is when I think of A tier, I picture that as my top 8. Let's put Regidrago in A tier with the other decks we have there. If Regidrago's in there with Pidgeot Control, Arch Aladdin, Iron Thorns, Dragapult, Ancient Box, and Charizard, Regidrago's the first one out for me.
Wait a minute.
Like,
Fair
I'll
enough, yeah.
top of B I love. You know, like, I could totally do top of B. It's just, its matchup spread isn't great into those 5 decks
Maybe
specifically.
even bottom.
It's
of
mid.
5.
It's like-
bottom A, maybe.
I don't even like bottom A for that same reason, man. Have at best, I think, slightly favored matchups into maybe Charizard. Maybe even Charizard can hold its own against Regidrago. It's done it before. It could do it again. Like, I think for an A tier deck, you want to have at least 50/50s into the other decks in A tier. I don't think Reggie Drago has that right now.
It's so dependent on so many things.
I think it can just do
I will
so
say
much.
straight
But
up,
just because it could do
like,
so much doesn't mean it
Drago's
could do what it needs to do.
versatile.
Its hardest hitting attacker is Giratina V-Star. That's not KOing Archaladin. It's not KOing Charizard. It's not KOing Dragapult. Yes, you can cure him. You also wipe all your energy in play. That makes it kind of rough. Iron Thorns in Dragapult makes it hard to get going early game. And this is a Squawk reliant deck. If they lead one of their quad Thorns, like, you don't have that hot start which you need to carry you through for a Kyurem wipe against Dragapult. Charizard kind of fixes that problem with Briar as well. Like, Briar in Charizard, I think, is kind of like a missing piece of the puzzle that makes that matchup more 50-50 now. And Ancient Box has always been a little rough because Kyurem doesn't wipe out Roaring Moons. It doesn't wipe out Koraidons. You can one-shot them pretty easy. And I know you know that, Josh. You were playing Ancient Box for a minute.
Yeah.
But I also think, what was it? I think straight up, I don't know. Just like how Goodra just like
People don't play Goodra right now, and I don't think that's necessarily an inclusion you need in Regidrago at the moment. Goodra is not gonna fix these matchups. It'll help you in Ancient Box. It'll help a little bit in Charizard. You're two-shotting them. They would now two-shot you. Dialga, yeah, okay, maybe that'll help the Archaladin Dialga matchup a bit, because you're not one-shotting with Giratina V-Star on Archaladin. So I could see Goodra being maybe worth an inclusion now, but it isn't in 90% of lists.
No, but then you're still gonna get one shot because if you what was it? Archaladon's actually wait.
Dude, a Star Kronos into an
I don't know,
Ogerpon.
what's the math on like going if I Goodra you as an Archaladon?
I am going to
Would you one tap my
I'm gonna boss.
Would you one tap me back or no?
Yes and no. I'm gonna boss up your Ogerpon, Star Kronos it, take 2 prize cards, and now that it's technically not your next turn, I'm gonna swing for Oko on Regidrago V-Star with Metal Blast on Dialga.
Oh.
Yeah. This is kind of why I have it in B tier. And I don't want to make it seem like this deck is bad. It's still so insanely it's amazing. Like you guys said, it has amazing options. I've got it in the top of B just because I don't see it taking down the next regional. When I think of A tier, I think of the deck that's winning the next regional. I don't think it's Regidrago this time. I think it was too strong in the last one. It was too strong. It got too popular. People are now playing lists that are really going to hurt this deck. But I think if you compare Regidrago to any other deck in B tier, I'm taking Regidrago. Except for maybe Stall. That's maybe the only deck in B tier that I think like kind of auto beats Regidrago.
Yeah.
But with the exception of that, I could see it taking down Palkia because you could go 3 prizes against Noctowl. I could see you taking down Quad Thorns because of canceling Cologne. And I've played enough Quad Thorns in my life to know Regidrago is not free. It is pretty hard. Cloth I know it can take down because of Kyurem, and also you're just pretty tanky. You one-shot everything. Gardevoir, Kyurem. Raging Bolt, that one's a little rough. Incineroar, hard, but doable. Sablezard, very doable. Lugia, good 50-50. This is why I got it in B.
Okay.
Fair.
Yeah. Sorry, it's my Regidrago rant. I'm just upset because it was like, 7 out of the top 8 last regional. Like,
Yep.
I needed this. I needed to get this off my chest on why I think it's B now. We've moved past this. I didn't mean to shoot you down, though, Joss or Rich. If you needed put it A, tell me. I will put it there.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
I was just talking.
We got 5 decks left. How are we feeling about the Reggies?
They're so fun.
Fun, but very rough consistency-wise. I did put it back in C
say-
for Rogue. People
Yeah.
have been
Threw it in
playing it
B,
more.
man.
People have been playing it more online, and if you look at its results, some of them are really good and some of them are really bad, and that to me screams C tier for Rogue.
That's true. I
Yeah.
think it's just
You
Yeah,
need
that's
this
just good
perfect
perception.
vibe at all moments.
bro. It's
Personally, for me,
literally
that-
just like if they're running a lot of, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Past your second area 0 getting bumped, you're crying.
I don't even think so, honestly. I played it with 3 Area 0. I was okay if I had to rely on the 3rd. It actually recovers pretty well from that. The problem is, can you make it to that point where you even make it to a second Area 0? Sometimes they kind of just, you can't get going at the start, and I think that's the
You kind
problem
of just
with
die early.
consistency.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
issue.
You either are fine past turn 3, or you never attacked yet and you know you're losing. You pick up and you play the next game.
That's so
Like,
true.
that's why it's C for me. It doesn't have the consistency to break out yet. I wanted it to.
Yeah.
I had it in A. I was playing it for a while, and then I played it some more, and now that I've taken it out of A, taken a step back because I wasn't the one playing it, I'm analyzing it and then revisiting it. I got it in C.
I put it in low B just for potential. It has potential.
That's
think.
exactly why it's in upper C for me. It's just the definition of a good rogue deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like that. It makes sense. Roaring Moon, we got up next.
Why? Like, actually, why is anyone ever playing this?
Because
Just play Ancient Box.
it's really-
Just play Ancient
it's
Box.
really
Ancient
good
Box
right
is
now.
literally just better.
I have it
Ancient
in
Box
A.
is literally just
Me
better.
too. I have it in A.
Roaring
I have it
Moon
in B.
can
Ancient
literally
Box
just
is
tell
just
you,
better.
yeah, go away.
No.
It's
Single prize
You
Ancient
spent
Box
the
is
last
just
4
better. I'm sorry.
turns-
No,
What does
you're
Roaring Moon
not.
do?
But that doesn't
EX
bump it out of
that
A.
regular can't.
It's got a rough Ancient Box matchup. That's okay. It's got a good Charizard matchup, a good Dragapult Iron Thorns matchup, a solid Archaladin matchup, and it does pretty well in the Pidgeot control because you got Pokemon without abilities that can attack. You got Pokemon with abilities that can attack, like Petron. You've got single prize Pokemon that swing well. You recycle energy great with Sadas and Dark Patch. I got it in bottom A.
The only people.
I got it
the
in
on- I mean,
mid-B.
not the only people. The only.
You're too
deck
biased.
I-
Hold up, Rich. You're too biased because you're playing Ancient Box.
I
Yes,
just don't understand why you're going to play Roaring Moon EX, a 2 prize that a lot of the time you have to put yourself to 30 HP, and then now you're 2 prize
because
liability.
it's got a
Why are
much
you,
better Dragapult and Charizard matchup than Ancient Box.
which is
does.
fine.
Yeah,
Which is
but
fine.
That's a huge
but-
reason. That's a very big reason. Those are two.
Which
of
is
the most popular
which
decks.
is why I am biased, because to
Yeah.
me as a player, I personally don't have major issues with those decks.
That's
playing
fair.
against them.
That's fair. But I don't play either of those decks. I'm taking it from just a very analytical. Let me take a step back from both. Like I said, I would play Ancient Box the next regional. I'm also not going to a regional. I haven't really played Ancient Box in a week. I've watched you play it, seen how amazing it is, and I've looked at a lot of tournament results while playing a lot of different decks for the channel. Roaring Moon does deal with a lot of things well, and its Ancient Box
Yes, it
matchup
does.
isn't awful. It's not favored. Yes, I know it's not
I'm
favored.
saying it's not that good.
It's not an auto loss. It's not. You play single prize Roaring Moons. You can match them one prize to one prize.
Yes,
And
yes.
you catch them with an Iona or something, catch that rough hand. I think Roaring Moon recovers better from that because it has more versatility in different attackers. But no, like again, it's not favored. Definitely not favored. I don't want it
What
to
I've
seem like
experienced
you want to play
when
it
you're
to this.
playing
Yeah.
Roaring Moon EX against Ancient Box, it kind of just depends on the hand the Ancient Box player gets off an Iona or Judge. That's really
And I think
where
the
it
start-
lies on.
I think the start.
From
if
the start.
Ancient Box can take a KO on a low HP EX Pokemon turn, their first attacking turn, I think Ancient Box is going to walk through the deck. But I think if Roaring Moon could catch them with that like slightly awkward hand at the start, and exactly like you said, kind of get a good judge. And Roaring Moon has actually been like one of the higher counts of judge for tournaments recently.
Yeah, it's playing a
Roaring Moon
lot.
has actually been playing like 3 judge in it, which
That's
is kind of
crazy.
nuts. Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, you catch him with one good judge and catch him in a rough start. It's not an awful matchup. It's still not great. It's not awful. And again, I'm just saying Roaring Moon's matchup into Ancient Box is unfavored. I'm not saying it's an auto loss. I'm not saying it's good. It's definitely not good. It's definitely bad. Like that's very bad. Yeah.
My thing with Ancient Box is I think that anything you want to do with Roaring Moon, you can do with Ancient Box, just safer.
Except, and this is why I have it in A, Ancient
one
Box is
tap.
not popular, and Roaring Moon is Frenzied Gouging. That torches Charizards, that torches
was gonna
Dragapults, that
say.
can deal with Archaladin very nicely. Like,
It says
Yeah, let-
it says that
Yeah.
that cute little Reggie Drago you spent the last 2 turns
Yeah.
setting up. Get it the fuck out of here.
yeah, man.
True. That's fair.
All right, what's the timer at? What's the timer at?
Hour 20, so we might...
Rich, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, that's right. And he said it's low. You made it to an hour. We got
No, but
3
I will
decks.
say-
I'm gonna... Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Avery, go.
Just really quickly, like
Yeah.
the ability to just take 2 prize cards instantly with like almost no effort. You just Sada, Dark Patch, Petron, and then you just win the game. Like it's ridiculous.
Against a lot of decks, yeah. And Ancient Box not popular enough for me to bump this to B because of Ancient Box. I wish it was, but it's not. It's a lower play deck. High performance, low.
Does
play rate, though.
does Moon EX play Briar or
You don't have Terra Pokemon. You need Terra Pokemon to take the KO with Briar. Yeah. Jumping into the next one, I'm just gonna put it in D real quick. I'm just gonna throw Terrapagos in there and move on.
Yep.
All right, cool. I've got 2 decks left. One of them is Entei V, Entei Ogerpon. I've got that as the perfect C tier deck.
What tier?
C. Nice and
Yeah.
rogue. Perfect.
Yep.
It's got great
Right in the
matchups.
middle.
It's got
Right
some
in the
rough
middle.
matchups. I think it's one of the most fun and solid turbo decks I've seen in a minute. I
It's
like
just-
this as turbo better than Miraidon.
I agree. I think it is definitely better than Miraidon.
Yeah.
At least right now.
No, completely agree. I got it at top of C, like top.
Listen, if you
Above-
really hate
yeah.
Archaludon right now, just play NTV
It's got a lot of gust.
and hope you
get around those
attack first.
You could get around those Archaladons even if you don't, dude. This deck
Yeah.
cooks. The last deck,
That's
which
fine.
I've left for the last because I'm gonna hear it for this one, is Sinistcha EX. I had it in A tier.
Agreed. No, I'm serious.
Had it.
I saw your video and I'm like, this deck is absolutely insane.
Dude,
It's good. It's really good.
this deck is nuts. And it's insane. Like, I like it into all of these matchups, dude. Honestly, if I was going to a regional, okay, I know I'd play Ancient Box. I wouldn't. I'd play Sinistcha. There's no question in my mind right now. Pidgeot control is interesting. If you're worried about losing energy with Cloth, don't be. Recycle your energy. If you're worried about Gust, and them taking an attacker and leaving it in the active, don't be. You're worried about Stall, you play 19 energy. Dude, all of your Pokemon could be fully set up and keep attacking. You're worried about Archaladon, snipe their unset up ones on the bench with Sinistcha's top attack. Duraludon Dragapult Iron Thorns, that one's a little shaky, but you get around it. You got some good attack damage. You could snipe bench Pokemon. You could snipe the Iron Thorns when they move for 2 prizes. Ancient Box, use your single press Sinistcha. You play 2 or 3 of them for a reason. Charizard, we're playing a grass deck. We're playing a grass single prize deck that's one-shotting. Now it's even worse. Roaring Moon, I just said why. Grass single prize deck. It's kind of nuts.
Get poopied on.
Yeah, dude, it's wild how good this deck is right now. And if you're worried about Regidrago Kyurem, let me stop you. Don't evolve your Sinistchas until you're ready to use them, because Poltergeist, although it has 30 HP, it does have an ability that says it cannot be sniped by damage counters or a damage from attacks while it's on the bench, naturally. So you don't even need Manaphy. And if you're like, oh, Monkey Dory, remember, just evolve. Like, you got options for both. One evolves keeping the Sinistchas in your hand, one doesn't.
Off-topic question a little bit.
Yeah, no, totally, go.
Where did Manaphy go?
It exists. It's just you really don't.
I
need
have
for
it in my
almost any
Charizard
deck.
list. Like, it's there.
Really?
Yeah.
I just never see it.
Dude, think about it. The only deck out of our top 10 right now that's sniping your bench is Palkia
It's Red
and
Drago.
Palkia, Regidrago, and Gardevoir. Regidrago,
No,
a
I
lot
know,
of decks
but,
can
like-
live without Manaphy because they're naturally tanky, except for Charizard, which plays Manaphy. But like Sinistcha doesn't need it for what I just explained. Roaring Moon doesn't need
Yeah.
it. Ancient Box doesn't need it. Stall obviously doesn't need it. Cloth doesn't need it because you can live Kyurem and stuff like that. It's if you could live 110, you don't need Manaphy.
I mean,
Anything that's not lost.
a Kyurem attack really does
To Cloth?
really hurt. No, a lost or an Ancient Box. It does really suck.
But it doesn't
Not gonna
one-shot your Roaring Moons.
Moons.
If you're up, match 2, match 3, if you know and you accidentally let a couple Flutter Mains, dude, don't play Flutter Mains. Just go for
See-
Roaring Moons and Koraidons. Like, it's best
Yeah,
of
this
3.
is more of a me thing because
Yeah.
that brings me to a point is when you do that, not only do you take out a Koraidon if I have it on the bench, now I can't Mochi attack.
But that's fine. Use your Roaring Moons. Roaring Moons.
Oh no, that's what I'm
Mochi-
saying. I can't later in the game. I can't use Mochi with
Oh,
those Roaring
yes.
Moons that you sniped.
Yes.
which sucks. Which is why I'm saying it hurts
But
so
it's
much more.
280 HP
At least
max,
my list,
which is doable.
My list.
Which is doable. 280 was always doable.
Yeah.
It was the 330, and I think that's where Mochi picks up. Is that 330? I don't think
Yeah.
you ever needed Mochi for Regidrago. And I've played a lot of Ancient Box. I've always liked my Regidrago matchup.
Depends. Sometimes if you can get it, like your second attack.
I've always
It's
liked it.
sometimes you could push it. You can get 240 in your second attack, and Mochi turn 2 to KO the
Dude.
first set up Drago before
Oh yeah.
they could do huge
You also
damage.
got so much you could gust around. Play Countercatcher, take out Ogrepons, take out Squawks, take out Mew. Like, it's
True.
Regidrago's navigatable, if that's a word.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that is going to wrap it up for our tier list. This was a bit of a longer one. There's a lot of decks here, a lot to talk about. It's been a while since a regional, and I think we added some new decks that really spice it up. A lot changed. So if you're going to one of these regionals, please let me know if you think a deck should be higher or lower, wherever it falls. Because this is the podcast, naturally we do have the small Who's That Pokemon game after for us to play real quick. So if you want to tune around for that, one, you're epic. You're literally the coolest person ever. You guys should. And if you guess the cards before these two bums, that would be awesome. These two bums being Joss and Rich. Avery selected a
Yo.
card for Josh to guess, and I selected a card for Josh to guess. Avery selected one for Rich. If you haven't seen Who's That Pokemon on any of our episodes beforehand, we are going to show a small clip of a Pokemon card in the standard format where the Pokemon has to be in the clip. The person will have 7 questions and 3 guesses, although this has been a long episode, so I might rush y'all a little bit, just not to be rude, just to make sure it's like a reasonable amount of time for the video. And then, yeah, they will either guess the Pokemon in 3 guesses, or they wouldn't, just so you guys know. The questions have to be card related, so you can't ask, is this Pokemon from Gen 1 or Gen 5 or later, but you can ask, is this Pokemon from the Scarlet Violet era or earlier than that, like Sword Shield era, but they have to be like yes or no questions, generally. So yeah, Avery, do you want to show the clip first, or do you want me to?
I guess I'll send mine over.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right, I'll message you it, and then I'll message Richard.
I do have
You can
something
put it
real
in
quick.
the Battle VIPs chat too if you want.
Could we all just
Yeah.
real quick pick one deck that we think is gonna take off?
Oh, that's a fire pick. Like potentially win.
Like we think it can be within the next 3 months can win a regional.
I would love to say Sinistcha. Realistically, I think Archaladin is going to be my like.
I think our challenge is BDIF in 3 months.
Or Pidgeot Control has.
Wait,
I don't
am
know if
I
that's one
allowed to
original,
look
actually. I'm
up?
gonna go Pidgeot
Wait,
Control.
am I allowed to Google cards that I think
No,
it is? Or
that's
no?
cheating.
No.
Absolutely not, you filthy cheater. I
That
know
is
you have that
cheating.
Google tab. Close that shit right now.
Yeah, I heard the
did
mouse.
have a
I
Google
heard the
tab.
mouse. All right, Rich, you're up. I will be rushing your questions. I know you like to sit and yap
All right.
and think.
Wait. Is
going.
it Hero? All right, Josh, you're up.
Wait, what is it? I didn't hear it.
Kirim.
Oh yeah, okay, that's what
Yo,
I thought it was too.
Avery, bro. We
That's
gotta work
true, that
on a
is
card
true.
selecting match.
I just don't know how.
It's one of my favorite Pokemon. I'm sorry.
Bro hit the reverse image search. No, that's
Really?
bullshit.
I
I'm
hate
calling that
Kieran.
right now. He hit that reverse image search.
I
know
did
you
not hit the reverse.
I
no.
know you
So-
did. You post that in Google. You said, nah, it's cute.
All right,
No,
hold
I
on,
know
I'm
it's
making
bro.
my thing.
Who else has that like T-Rex looking
Josh,
Nah,
I'm
it's
so
fine.
that has
sorry.
blue too?
This is not gonna be as easy as. Oh
Okay.
man, I gotta pull this over. Hold up, I gotta move. This isn't working right. All right, Let me-
I'm sorry, Avery, bro. I did just.
we gotta do some.
I mean, hey, Chris, you said you wanted it to be quick, so.
No, that's fair. Josh, good luck. You got seven
It's
questions.
okay. It's a
Next
VMAX.
Could be a VMAX. That is true. Is that your question?
Yeah. Is it a VMAX?
No.
What?
What do you
Owned.
mean, what? It's not.
Could you like? Hold on, I have to say that I can't really
Oh,
see
yeah,
it.
sorry. It's a small, like, the cards are not huge images, naturally, so taking a clip. It was a respectable clip, though. Like, the Pokemon is, I would say, like, you know, 30-40% of the image.
Pokemon is 30 to 40% of the image.
I'll go 35, yeah.
Okay.
Part of the Pokemon is in this clip. I purposely made this hard as a way of telling you to get on the podcast more, and I'll be more fair with my images.
That's
Anyways.
Is it from a Scarlet Violet era?
It is.
Okay. I just don't even know what I'm looking at, dude. I'm just looking
No,
at like
that's
a
okay.
light.
I'll give you another small hint here. The card is very not popular. Like, so it was hard to find an image of the card that was huge. So when I took a small portion of it, it wasn't grainy, if that makes sense. So, but like I tried to find the biggest natural image to get the least grainy part of it. Like normally I do 50 pixels by 50 pixels or something like that for the clips. This one I did 70 by 70 or something. Like I did it bigger because it was like still grainy and I was like, this is a mess.
Okay. Is it from? Alright, here's my first hit. Is it from Temporal Forces?
Oh, that's a really good question. Can I look it up because I don't know.
I mean, I would
If you
hope.
think of other questions.
I have another question that goes off of that question.
Yeah, that's fine. What is it? Just so I could check both while I'm staring.
Well,
at
it depends. Well, I'm not gonna ask. It goes off of that, so I need to
that's
answer that first.
Fine. It's not from temporal forces.
It's not.
No. What was your next one?
It was gonna ask if it was an ancient or future Pokemon.
It's not a yes or no question. I apologize.
If it's an ancient or future Pokemon?
Oh, well, I guess I thought you were asking, like, is it this or this? I guess I could say yes to either of those.
No.
Like, that's the question as a whole.
Is it yet? Is it?
Oh,
Is it a
yes.
Paradox Pokemon?
Sorry, I totally read that the wrong way. Yes.
I'm gonna say I didn't know if it was Paradox. Okay, now.
No.
I can't ask
That
yes or no.
I understood that as like, oh, can you tell me if it's future or ancient? I was like, wait, no. Now I get it. That's user error. User error.
What is a Paradox from Scarlet Violet? How many questions am I at?
3.
Is it from City in Flames?
It's gonna be a negative. But he's cheating. He's looking up cards right now. Are you? You better
He's
not
got live
be.
open.
No.
Better not be. Yeah, he's got live open.
Is it? I'm gonna take a crack at it.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
That's okay. This was meant to be hard. This was not meant to be easy.
Is it?
I needed this.
I'm looking at the green.
That's
Oh.
one of the colors.
That is a color. You're right. It's on the rainbow too, actually.
Am I allowed to ask the type of the card?
No, but you can be like, oh, is this like a metal Pokemon card or something like
Of the
that?
card. Yes, not the type of the Pokemon, the card.
What do you mean? Yeah, but I can't say just yes to like, or you can't be like, oh, what type is this card? And I'm like, oh, it's this type. You could be like, is this psychic?
Well, yeah, obviously,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I have to ask yes or no.
For sure.
Is it grass?
It's not.
Bro was thinking
Psychic?
Iron Leaf.
It is not.
Ooh. But he is narrowing it down right now. He's got like 2 questions left and like 18 paradoxes.
He's got
to choose
one
from.
question left. He is currently at 6 questions.
I have one question
You
left.
have 1 question left.
Alright, I'm trying to think of what could eliminate the most possible paradox.
Lock in, my
Pokemon.
man. You got it.
I believe in you. Josh, I
Not
purposely
maybe.
gave you this because I knew Rich would never get it. You were my only hope at someone getting this card. I had faith in you. I have faith in you, not past tense. I believe in you. Do you have a final question to knock this out? I will give you some of the info back in case it helps you. It is a Paradox Pokemon. It is not from Temporal Forces or from Obsidian Flames. It is also not a Grass type or a Psychic type.
Is it an electric type?
It is not an Electric type Paradox Pokemon. That is
Okay.
all 7 questions. You have 3 guesses.
Is it Slitherwing?
It is not Slitherwing.
Is it? I said it's not grass. It's not.
It's not Grass, it's not Slitherwing, and it's not a Psychic type.
You said it's not electric, right?
Yeah, it's not Electric. Avery, Rich, any guesses?
You know what? We're taking a crack
No
at it.
clue,
It's
bro.
one of the Dawn fans. Is it Great Tusk?
It is not Great Tusk.
Is it Iron Treads?
It would, in fact, be Iron Treads.
It is.
It
Wait.
is.
Hold on. I think you. What set is it from? Because I played an Iron Treads that was from Temporal Forces.
Yo, that's my bad, bro. It is Temporal Forces.
It is Temporal Forces?
that's
Oh,
totally my
I
bad. That's
knew
totally my
it.
bad. That's totally my bad. That's 100% user error.
Because I played it
I'm not
in
even joking,
a,
bro. I looked it up on Google and not the card I had saved. I sent it in the group
What
chat.
was
That's
it?
100% my bad. That's on me.
Because I played it in the one the build battle deck thing.
Yeah.
I got it in that.
Yes,
I got
yes,
one
you
in
did. Yes,
that.
you did. Oh, why did I forget that? Yeah, no, that's
So I
100% my fault, bro. That's 100%.
Nah,
I'm
you're
happy
good.
you got that because if you didn't, I would have been upset with myself because I totally answered that wrong. I apologize.
stinky.
I
Rigged.
I know it's rigged. It's rigged. It's okay. He got it. It wasn't changed. It is Iron Shreds. Rich, be happy I didn't give this to you.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking it was Treads,
Are
honestly.
you serious? I didn't even know if you knew that Pokemon existed.
Well, because it's a stinky Pokemon.
I mean, to be fair, Paradox Pokemon, just guess a noun and a metal, and you have like a 30% chance to hit it.
Say iron and something. Yeah.
Stinky metal.
Yeah.
I love the Paradox Pokemon.
I think they're fun.
I do. I think
Well,
they're awesome.
This episode has been a ton of fun. Seriously, thank you guys all for coming out and being here. I think this was our biggest regular non-special edition episode. And I hope everyone kind of was rocking with the tier list we had. I could flip back to it real quick. You know, obviously, if there's anything else you wanted to change about it, please let me know. If there's any decks you want me to add in the future that you think are getting popularity or something, or you would just like to see us rank, please let me know. And if there's nothing else you guys have to add, we all good?
Kofu box.
Yeah.
That's all
What if
I
for the
good.
1 year special, we had viewers submitted deck list?
I'd actually love that. That would be so fun. That would be a ton of fun. Or for the 1 year special, we invite a random viewer.
I was gonna say that.
Oh, that'd
invite
be
a viewer.
awesome, yeah.
Yeah, invite a random
And they give
viewer
us
to-
their list.
Yeah, man. The whole thing, man. I'm gonna give them the role to go in that group chat and send them the same early link I sent you guys with all the decks we'll do, and they'll do it. Jump in right with us. Yeah, that'd be a ton of fun, actually. So that means I would start commenting now, because I'll play favorites. And I'll pick the person who supports it the most. So start supporting the pod. I'm sorry. I don't pick favorites. Just kidding. But I will pick the person who does show the pod a lot of support, or do it completely random. I have no idea. But in case I do pick the person who supports it the most, you should support the pod. So yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. If you're going to the regionals that we mentioned, Rio De Janeiro or Birmingham, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to offer some support and wish you good luck. If you need help selecting a deck, editing a deck, doing text, hit us up in the Discord. The four of us will totally help you. I'm sure you won't want Rich's help, but it'll be there. Josh, Avery, and I can totally help you guys though.
Yo.
So yeah, with that being said, stay epic. Peace.